Congratulations, you're amazing, beautiful, and I know you're going to have an amazing year, so thank you so much. What are your plans? What do you plan to do with your title, and how are you going to be able to change the United States and then possibly go on to Miss Universe and change the world?
Well, believing that I can is really important to that. But one of the things that's most important to me is Dress for Success. It's an organization that focuses on economic mobility for women. I volunteered with Dress for Success Charlotte for a few years, worked with my law firm on doing fundraisers and clothing drives, and I hope to do the same as Miss USA, to advocate for Dress for Success and make sure that women have the resources we need to be successful in the workplace, which absolutely includes what we wear. Who's next? Oh. Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
Leslie. I think that your area of litigation is extremely important, and it's a niche that a lot of attorneys don't dive into. So curious, what was it that got you into this type of litigation?
To civil litigation, or is it?
In prison and justly.
So I do some pro bono work for people who were sentenced or given sentences that were extraordinarily long. So for example, my stepdad, who's also an attorney, he's been practicing for years, and he'd been doing a lot of work during the Obama administration on the Clemency Initiative. And the Clemency Initiative, Obama made sure that there were certain standards that people had to abide by if they were imprisoned, and if they met certain standards, they may be released early. So my stepdad and I, we've worked a lot pro bono for a client who lives in South Carolina but was sentenced in North Carolina, hoping to use the First Step Act, some recent legislation that was passed recently, using the First Step Act to do the same thing that the Clemency Initiative did, and looking at the sentences that people were given and seeing if they were unjustly sentenced. So for example, there were some mandatory minimums that people used to have to abide by. There were some 3 strikes laws that sometimes ended up giving people long sentences. So we've really worked with them to do that. However, that's not my primary area of practice. I usually do civil litigation, not criminal law.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Right here.
Right here?
Here, yeah.
2 questions. I'm going to record on my phone too.
Great.
First, I want to talk about the melanin, Miss Teen USA, and you, the Black Girl Magic. I just want to get your perspective to talk to other young brown and black girls who may be interested in the pageant world, who may have thought about it, but now they have someone like you. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so one of the things that I thought was important is to have representation. I actually write a lot on my blog, White Collar Glam, about hairstyles and how important it is to have people who have the same hairstyle as you. One of the articles I wrote about an attorney who worked for my firm and said that she was going to be my trailblazer, because I was afraid of wearing my natural hair in a law firm, especially a very large law firm in North Carolina. I just didn't know how it would be perceived. And I think it's important to have women who are like that, who want to be a trailblazer and want to show other women it's okay to wear your natural hair, it's okay to wear braids to work. And you know, choosing to wear my natural hair at Miss USA was a huge part of that.
And real quick on the second question, we're with the ABC affiliate here. What are your thoughts on Northern Nevada spending so much time here?
Oh, I love it here. So I was one of the contestants who got to go to Lake Tahoe. It was really cold there, but it was beautiful. I'd never been. So I've loved seeing Reno, Tahoe. I've loved seeing the area here. It's beautiful. And thank you so much to the locals for welcoming us.
Thank you.
Who else? Yeah.
Yes, you had a story on the videotape about the conference where you wore the pants and not the skirt. Tell us a little more about the context of that and how that affected you.
Sure. So I went to Wake Forest University School of Law and Graduate School of Business. I did a 4-year program there, earned a JD and an MBA. One of the things that I did while I was in law school is I competed in moot court competitions. If you're familiar with appellate advocacy, what you do is you stand at a podium and a panel of judges argue with you. So it'd be like if you were arguing in front of the Supreme Court. It's just a mock appellate advocacy competition. I went to one, a sports law competition in Louisiana, and while we were there, my partner and I, we were arguing, and we had a really cold bench, which just means we just did not get a lot of questions from the judges. And afterwards, we were getting feedback from those judges who were supposed to be asking us questions. And the only piece of feedback I got from the judges was, why don't you wear a skirt next time instead of pants? And it was so frustrating. I just stood there and I was like, we stood here for 30 minutes after practicing for months, and all you have to say to me is, wear a skirt next time. It was really frustrating. So I hope that going forward, more judges are aware of what they're saying to competitors, whether they're male or female. Don't tell females to wear different clothes while you give the men substantive feedback on their legal arguments. So that part of it was really frustrating to me. But I continued competing at Wake Forest. One of the things that I did was I was on the the trial team at Wake Forest, and we won a national trial team championship. And I was really excited to do that and excited to get real feedback from some other judges.
Right here.
Hi, so first of all, I just wanted to say congratulations. That crown looks amazing on you.
Oh, thank
Very
you.
deserving. So as a pageant girl myself, I have seen how the industry is not sustainable at all and not accessible for most girls because of all the costs. And I mean, personally, I don't come from an affluent background, and I very much care about reducing fashion waste. So since then, I actually started a company, an app that addresses this for pageant girls called Queenly. And I was curious, how would you help make the pageant industry or formal wear industry more sustainable?
Well, one of the things that I think is really important is making sure that people are reusing their clothing. I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head. The pageant industry can be incredibly expensive, but I think there are more and more people who are trying to answer that problem. For example, there is an outlet in Charlotte, I believe it's called Dressed Charlotte, where they have dresses, evening gowns that you can rent. There's Rent the Runway. There are tons and tons, or really more and more emerging outlets like that, where you can reuse dresses, where you can borrow dresses from people and pay for them. And I think outlets like that help to reduce waste and help to answer the problem that I think you identified and how expensive it can be to compete in pageants.
Sorry, one more follow-up.
Yeah.
So personally, would you reuse your Miss USA winning gown, or would you sell it?
Yes, I would reuse it, of course. Fun fact, so I competed at Miss North Carolina USA 3 times. I won on my 3rd try, thank you. And the second time that I competed in a green velvet Sherry Hill gown. And the very next year that I competed, I thought, should I wear the same gown? Is that okay? And I thought, different day, different judges, why not? And so yes, I re-wore my same gown the 3rd year and won that year. So I don't think there's anything wrong with reusing dresses. And if you scroll down my Instagram far enough, you'll see that I reuse a lot of my wardrobe.
Thank you so much. It starts with us, right?
Yes, it does.
We have another right here.
Yeah.
I'm also local. Hello. You can hear me. I can.
Yeah.
Just wanted to ask you
Hello.
Okay. I'm also from Reno, so I'm glad you enjoyed Tahoe.
Yes.
Isn't it beautiful?
It is.
So just a fun question for you. When the crown, that moment, take us back to that moment after all this hard work.
So it was really scary. I went into the competition really not knowing what was going to happen. There were so many beautiful women. The competition was really, really tough. And so when I stepped out onto that stage before the top 15 was called, I really did just want to have fun. My family was here. My mom was in the audience. She had my face on a stick, waving it around. So I was just really excited to be there. And I got called for top 15, and I didn't feel any nerves. I was just excited. And then I got called for top 10, and I thought again, well, this is fun. I made it far again. And then I just kept hearing my name get called. And when I was standing there next to New Mexico, wondering whose name was going to get called next, all I could think was, this is really cool. And then my name got called, so that's about it.
2 more questions?
Oh, okay.
Am I up, Jackie?
Yep.
Not so much of a question, but more of a statement.
Okay.
This is Carl Dunn, CEO of Pageantry Magazine. We've been posting all week saying, who's going to be our next cover? So now we know. I'd like everybody to give her a round of applause for capturing the title of Miss USA 2019. And more importantly, I want to congratulate you and really commend you through the final question and even tonight at your initial press conference. Your eloquence is unparalleled. It's a joy listening to you and watching you, and it's a very well-deserved title.
Thank you so much. That is, I need that kind of encouragement, so thank you so much.
That's what we're here for, and I look forward to interviewing you in about a week.
Look forward to it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
My name is Marvin from Pageant Talk. So my question is, you're a litigation attorney. So what is your motivation on joining pageants like Miss USA?
So when I was 10 years old, my mom was crowned Mrs. North Carolina 2002. And I remember being a little girl, there was this image that's really burned into my mind. I was sitting on the sideline of a parade that she was doing. She was literally in a white carriage being drawn by white horses. I mean, you couldn't paint a nicer picture. She was wearing this mint green gown, waving, and I thought, I want to be her. And it was in a time in my life when I didn't know who I was and I wasn't confident in myself. I was that little weird kid who had a unibrow and didn't have any friends. My hair was always pulled back. I thought, I want to be just like her. So when I got to high school, I competed in pageants, and I can't say that pageants make you beautiful. I think they make you more confident in the person that you are. Because I'm the same weird kid. I still like reading books, and at the end of the day, I like to sit by myself in my house and just watch movies. But I think pageants taught me all of that. And my mom was really the person who introduced me to that and drew me to pageantry.
So, any more questions? One here.
Okay, I just have an easy question for you.
Yeah.
Other than Miss Universe, what event would you like to attend this year as Miss USA?
New York Fashion Week. I mean, I wish I could say more, but New York Fashion Week. I looked for years. I watched the Miss USAs compete. I watched them do the Sherry Hill Fashion Show at Fashion Week. I watched them do appearances. I looked at their wardrobe and all their pictures and their styling during that week, and I thought, I want to do that. So New York Fashion Week, that is the #1 fun event that I want to do besides Miss Universe.
Okay, we have one more question.
Okay.
I thought for sure you were going to say the Reno Rodeo.
That comes second, but definitely.
Okay, well, there's an opportunity there. We hope to have you back.
Oh, thank you. I hope to be back.
Put it on your calendar.
That's on it.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.